Right, so we're going to have some fun with layer styles now. Layer styles allow us to do all kinds of fun things like create drop shadows and glows and strokes and gradients. And what I'm going to do here is use layer styles to lift this off the background a little bit. We faded it out, which was nice, but I want to put a border around the outside of it. So over here in the layers panel, we created this by duplicating the previous layer and manipulating it. I don't want to just rename that, so I'll double click on there and let's just call that rounded rectangle, if we can spell it. There we go. And I'm going to take that layer, use the trick we've seen previously of dragging that down, dropping it on the new layer icon to create a duplicate of it. Now, as we duplicate that layer, we duplicate its properties, so the opacity of this new layer is 27%. Let's beef that up to 100% like so. Right, now to access the layer styles, you can use this icon down at the bottom of the layers panel, or alternatively you can just right click and go to blending options, because blending options is one of the layer styles. So here's, and you'll see others here like the shadows and glows and beveling. And what I'm going to do here is go down to stroke. You'll need to click on stroke down here to get the stroke options. And you'll see you can manipulate the size of the stroke there. You can change the color of the stroke to something else, and you can change the opacity of the stroke. And so that's looking pretty good. I'm liking that. But the problem is, as you can see in the preview here, that because this layer is on 100% opacity, we're not seeing the faded effect that we created previously. Well, that's okay. I can go up to blending options up at the top, and under advanced blending there's the fill opacity, currently at 100%. If I just move that slider down the way, you'll see that what I'm doing there is decreasing to nothing the opacity on the fill, so we can see through to the layer underneath. If we click OK, you'll see the effect there. If I switch that off, whip it back like so. Now once the layer effects are in, you get these icons appear and this FX appearing up here, where you can double click on that to get back into the layer style box. Let's just throw another one of these in. So I'm going to go to drop shadow. Let's select a drop shadow and click OK on the drop shadow option. And you can see a little preview of the drop shadow there. I'm just going to make that blend normally. Let's increase the distance on it and the spread. You can play around with these. You see how you get in a live preview, which is great. So you can just manipulate that till you're happy with what you've created there, and then click OK. Now if at some point you did want to remove one of those layer styles, this is something that's not immediately obvious, it has to be set in Photoshop, but basically the idea is if you click on it, that is selected. Let's have another go. It is a bit fiddly this. Let's try again. There you go. So if you click on the text, you see how I've got the FX there selected, and if I drop that on the bin, sure enough it would remove that effect. There's delete layer effect in my history panel, so I could just zip that back because I didn't quite like that effect. And there you go. So that's an introduction to layer styles. Loads of